Today, I'll share 3 journaling practices that'll help you slow down time and free your focus from the constant pull of distractions. I've been journaling daily for well over a year now, and I've experienced massive improvements in my ability to be present, organize my life, understand my mistakes, and plan for my future. I rarely waste time on my phone anymore, and I feel more capable of achieving my goals than I ever have in my life. But this wasn't always the case. I've lived at both ends of the extreme. Like an automaton, I mindlessly wandered through life, watching the years go by as if I were watching my own life through another screen. Like most people who turn 30, I was hit with the reality that all the time I thought was ahead of me was starting to shrink. As the pendulum swings, I became frantic about making up for lost time. My new obsession was to find the shortcuts to productivity, digital note-taking apps, project management software, automation sequences, a never-ending search for the ultimate system to make getting things done as simple as clicking a button. Because that's what we're sold, right? Easier, faster, simpler, cheaper. Of course, this was just shifting the problem. Instead of giving all my focus and attention away to social media, I was now sacrificing it at the altar of productivity. Time felt like it was flying by even faster, the very thing I was trying to avoid. But things changed when I decided to stop in a bookstore for a few minutes before clocking into work. While looking around, a leather-bound notebook caught my eye, and I thought to myself, who even has time to journal? But if I didn't have time now, when would I? Actually, why am I so busy? What am I rushing toward? And why do I feel like I have less time than ever? I bought that notebook, and it sat on my desk untouched for months. I still wasn't convinced I had time for it. But a much-needed vacation finally gave me the space to write in it. And after one journaling session, I realized the answer I was seeking. To slow down time, I had to slow down. And stillness is the key, Ryan Holiday wrote. Journaling is a few minutes of reflection that both demands and creates stillness. It's a break from the world, a framework for the day ahead, a coping mechanism for troubles of the hours past, a revving up of your creative juices for relaxing and clearing. Journaling by hand in a physical notebook slows us down and creates the space required to be intentional with our lives, present in the moment, and focused on the right things right now. So the first method I want to talk about is how we get organized about our time. Most people aren't aware of where all their time is actually going, and this allows them to confidently proclaim that they don't have any to spare. But the data on phone usage tells a different story. On average, people spend about 4 hours and 37 minutes on their phone each day, which is the equivalent of 70 days a year. It's no wonder people feel like life is passing them by. They're spending 2 months a year staring into a phone screen. Clearly, it's not time that is lacking. Now, in my hunt for the perfect system, I did come across one technique that's incredibly effective at getting a grasp on your allocation of attention. It's a technique called time boxing or time blocking. All you gotta do is get out a piece of paper or your notebook. Technically, you can use a calendar app, but just try analog for a minute. The first thing you're gonna do is draw a vertical column and break it up into 1-hour blocks with a timestamp next to it. I list mine from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. to exclude sleeping hours. The second step is to block out the hours where you have real obligations, things like work, appointments, meetings, and social commitments. The remaining empty boxes are all of your free time to allocate accordingly. It doesn't have to be complicated, just map it out. Unless you're a hyper-optimizer, there should be plenty of free time to schedule activities of solitude, such as journaling, walking, and even exercising. If you find this journaling method effective, then make it a weekly routine to map out your week and reclaim autonomy over your time. But the purpose of this exercise is simply face the reality of your situation so you can become more intentional about where you spend your time. You can use time boxing to gain some clarity about where your time is going, but there is a certain type of person who runs the risk of taking it to the extreme. Avoid the trap of scheduling every minute of your day because no matter how perfect your plan is on paper, life has a way of humbling those who think they can always control it. So what if you do this exercise and you actually don't have any spare time? Productivity pioneer David Allen once said, "You can do anything, but not everything." If you want to slow down time and become more present, that's going to require you to let go of some things. Being so busy you can't spare 30 minutes to yourself is a fast track to burnout and misery. For this person, the need for space to think is more important than the need to stay busy. Now, the second method I want to talk about is replacing distractions with a pocket notebook. Time spent looking at a phone is one issue, but another problem is how incessantly we check them for notifications. According to one survey, the average American checks their phone 144 times per day. I see statistics like this, and I can't help but think about life before we became so dependent on digital devices. What's worse is a large portion of the population believes journaling is a waste of time, a thing of the past, or a luxury for people who don't have real responsibilities. While aboard the HMS Beagle, Charles Darwin wrote to his sister, "A man who dares to waste 1 hour of time has not discovered the value of life." But for someone who valued his time so highly, Darwin wasn't opposed to spending a large portion of his writing in his notebooks. During the course of his 5 years sailing around the world, he filled around 15 pocket notebooks that he used in the field to catalog his observations. They contained everything from sketches to habitat information to personal questions about what he was experiencing. Instead of a phone always at his side to lose himself in, he had his pocket notebooks to pore over. Clearly, his prolific output and theory of evolution prove there is value to be found in thinking on paper. While times have changed and there's no going back to an era before cell phones, we can still use this method to cut back on our time lost to distractions. Like Darwin, I carry a pocket notebook with me at all times. Inside it, I write down quotes, ideas, and definitions I come across that I want to remember. This gives me a healthy alternative to replace the constant phone checking. It takes a while to get used to, but over time the phone gets checked less and the ideas you want to internalize get reflected on more. Seriously, I can't recommend these pocket notebooks enough. They're a game changer. They're cheap, they're effective, and they're easy to carry around. Perfect for replacing the bad habit of checking in on your phone. Now, the third method I want to talk about is the act of a daily meditation. Everyone knows the cliche, it's not the destination that matters, but the journey along the way. And yet we constantly fail to live like it's true. People use AI and sentence finishing software to speed up the writing process, as if having written something is more important than the process of writing itself. They rush through journaling sessions on their phone app just to check the box off their to-do list rather than slow down and appreciate the space journaling creates. Why learn to draw if AI can do it for you? Why study history if you could just Google the answers when you need them? And why bother taking notes by hand when you could just copy and paste them into an app? We are obsessed with outcomes and are constantly trying to shortcut the process. But the process is the reward. It's the very thing that slows down time and brings you into the present. Life is lived in the moment and there are no shortcuts to now. You're already living it. The reason time feels like it's flying by is because of this obsession to finish one thing and move on to the next. So try and join the scenic route and see how much peace it could bring. I have a notebook dedicated to daily journal entries where the whole point is to take my time and get comfortable with solitude. I take 5 to 10 minutes to carefully outline the margins, draw up the lines, and create a grid for each page. I try not to rush this. Going slow is the point. It allows me to think for a few moments before I start writing. After the entry, I take a few minutes to draw a visual representation, something I'm terrible at. But that's why I do it. It slows me down and signals that there is more to life than just getting things done. And if you want 26 free journaling prompts to get started with this process, I'll leave a link in the description below. Try it out for yourself and see how it feels. Avoid the tendency to rush through the process to reach an outcome and enjoy the sense of stillness that comes with it. I'm currently reading the daily laws for topics I reflect on in this notebook. In it, Robert Greene wrote, "The time that you are alive is the only real possession that you have. So slow down and make that time your own."